Hey everyone, welcome back to the Radical Care for Christian Counselors podcast. And if you're joining us today, we're in the last part of a long series, which is all about cognitive distortions. And it's one of my favorite ones, actually. So if you're watching and listening today, you're in for a treat. And without further ado, let me make sure that you're in the right place. You are. But if you're a Christian counselor, a mental health professional, or a pastoral care leader, you're definitely in the right place because you will love everything that we talk about in this place. But also, if you're a mom, if you are a teacher, if you have to care well for other people, you're in the right place as well because each time we cover resources, we cover hard mental health topics, we cover tools and different ways that you can be with people without fixing. If you want to create a place where people can be seen, safe, soothed, and secure, a place where they can belong and not have to be fixed, you can do that. And God can be glorified in that. And that's what we learn to do here. That's step out and thrive. This is our last cognitive distortion. And I always begin by mentioning the things that are different down there, as far as the notes and the podcast notes and the YouTube notes. Basically, two things. One, if you want a list of cognitive distortions, you can download the PDF. Very easy to do, and you can follow along. Number two, Rosebud is an app that I use every single day, and it helps me label my cognitive distortions. It helps me really just come to terms about what all is happening in my life. And so if you'd like to check that out, you can do that. I think any buddy that buys it helps give a little bit of a discount to me for my next year. And so if you want to do that, thanks. If not, it's all good because I know it's not for everybody, but people ask me all the time, Bethany, how do you know this? How did you must do a lot of work, and I do, but it also helps. Technology can help as well. All right. For the last cognitive distortion is should. 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 That word can catch us in so many traps. I should have. Well, if she should. So many times we should all over ourselves, right? We're gonna I'm gonna repeat that just to make sure you heard that right. Sometimes we should all over ourselves and all over everybody else. So what does that look like? Well, you can probably already think in your mind what that looks like. But one of the incidences that happens here at my house a lot with three boys is that I hear, but mom, he should have. And it's so hard because usually they're mad at their brother for not doing something or that he should have done something. And it always makes me in the middle because usually I don't know. So it takes me a while to just sit with them and get the context. Sometimes I just let it go. It depends on where we're at. But a lot of times it takes a lot of time to get to see the whole circumstance of what's happening. Should also can be a little harder and challenging. I should have known. I should have seen that coming. I should have protected him. I should have known better. Man, I've heard that statements from so many of my clients. And if I'm honest, I know I've said those statements myself as well. Really easy to stay in that, to kind of figure that out mindset, because it's almost like we want to protect ourselves for next time. So if that happens again, I need to be able to be prepared. I need to learn my lesson from this time. And part of us wants to stay so much in the past because it almost feels better because we kind of feel like we can do some work forward because maybe there's nothing that we can do about the present. Or maybe we don't want to do what we need to in the present. There's a lot that's going on. I remember years and years and years and years and years ago when I was driving, me and the boys were involved in an accident. It was not my fault. Somebody was going the completely wrong way and really got us head on. I remember we had to get out of the van and I couldn't get out. They literally had to come and take a special tool to actually get me out because the whole dash had fallen on my legs. There's a lot of things that accident that my kids still remember to this day. And one of the things that happened right before is that my oldest was like, Mom, he said to turn or something. And of course, it happened so quick. Happened so quick. And one thing we had to wrestle with, he's like, Mom, you should have turned. I told you to turn. You should have turned. And we really had to sit with that because that really was a challenging event, not just for me, but for the boys as well. And so I had to spend some time with him and really process that feeling of being completely out of control and having to, even the seconds you can't brace yourself, what do you do? That was a really hard thing for me as a mom to do. And I took responsibility for the things I could, but I couldn't take responsibility for the whole thing. We really had to realize that no matter what I could do as a mom, I couldn't fully protect my kids. And that was a hard reality for him to realize too. And he was younger at the time, and I remember just talking about God and how God can protect us and be with us and what that really looks like, even when things go wrong. And it was a really deep, eye-opening conversation that we had together. I really had to go back and go, okay, what am I struggling with the most here? Why am I really struggling with my son's should statements? It's really almost more comforting when I catch it in myself because I feel like I can do something about that. But when I catch it in my son, and I catch it in my kids, and I catch it on those that I care for, I just want to like take it away from them. But you can't take it away. You really have to walk with to really get the story beneath the should. I'm still loving saying that. Anyway, there's stories beneath the should. Can you dig deep enough to really discover what that is? Sometimes you can use the whole continue the story. Okay, if that did happen, then what? If that did happen, then what? If that did happen, then what? But a lot of times you're going back in the past and going, okay, that didn't happen. And telling yourself that didn't happen. And it's not the mindset of staying in that should isn't impacting anything right now. So a lot of times it's grief and it's sadness and it's anger that has to be expressed. And a lot of times that's a whole lot easier to walk that journey out with other people as they can get curious with you. So my challenge to you is if you really are struggling with should statements, and I had permission to ask people to do this for me, is that I had them call it out. When I said should, I had them call it out. That drove me nuts for a long time, but it really helped me change my language around. In fact, when I tried to look for this cognitive distortion in my journaling, they couldn't find it. It wasn't present. So I really do not say that word that much anymore. And so it's taking it out. So it's a good way of doing it, but also to really to go back and go, okay, what can I take responsibility for and what can I not? What is in my responsibility? And God, can you speak to me about that? I want to say should. It feels so much more comfortable to say should. So what am I scared of? What am I not wanting to move toward? Can you speak truth over that? Can you show me where you are in this? This was our last cognitive distortion in the series. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helped you really in your mindset and how to move forward. And again, I know I mentioned this several times, but please know these cognitive distortions are so much more easier to find out in groups. Groups that love you and care for you, ones that aren't going to try to fix, but just can gently point things out and then go beneath the surface. If you don't have a group like that and you would love a group to practice with, well, that's what we do here at Step Out and Thrive. We'd love to have you be part of our tip group that begins January 2025 and launches every 6 months. So if you're interested in that, please check that out. And you can also look for all the resources at bethanyboring.com or stepoutandthrive.com. Hope you have an amazing week and look forward to seeing you back next week. Dare to do more than just survive, step out and thrive. See you guys later. Bye.